You remember your 5th birthday, maybe your first day of school, maybe the smell of your grandmother's kitchen, but you don't remember being one. You don't remember learning to walk, or the first time you heard your own name, or the face that leaned over your crib every single night for months. That face loved you completely, and you have no memory of it at all. For over a century, this gap has had a name. Sigmund Freud called it infantile amnesia. He believed children repressed their earliest memories because those years were, in his view, full of forbidden desires too disturbing to keep. That explanation sounds dramatic. It also turns out to be almost entirely wrong. The real answer is far stranger and far more mechanical than anything Freud imagined. Here's the first surprise. Babies do remember things. Psychologist Caroline Rovee-Collier spent decades proving it. In her classic experiments, she tied a ribbon from an infant's ankle to a mobile hanging above the crib. Kick your leg, and the mobile spins. Babies as young as 2 or 3 months old figured this out fast. They kicked. They watched it move. They learned the connection almost instantly. Weeks later, when researchers brought back the same mobile, the babies remembered. They started kicking again before anyone touched the ribbon. So the memory was there. The problem isn't storage. The problem is retrieval. Don't think about that for a second. Your brain, right now, might still contain traces of your infancy. Somewhere, buried. Not gone, but unreachable. Doesn't that feel a little unsettling? The next clue came from a different direction entirely. Biology, not psychology. Neuroscientist Paul Franklin, working with mice at the hospital for sick children in Toronto, found something remarkable in 2014. The hippocampus, the brain region responsible for forming new long-term memories, is under constant construction during early life. New neurons are born at an extraordinary rate in infancy. This process is called Neurogenesis. And here's the twist. Every time a new neuron gets wired into the hippocampus, it can overwrite or destabilize the connections already there. Your infant brain wasn't failing to save memories. It was actively renovating the building those memories lived in, tearing down walls before the paint had even dried. Franklin tested this directly. He raised young mice and let some of them exercise, which is known to boost neurogenesis. Those mice forgot things faster. Then he gave older mice, whose neurogenesis had already slowed down, a drug that reactivated the process. Those older mice, which normally hold on to memories fine, suddenly started forgetting too. The pattern held in both directions. More new neurons, less stable memory. It's not that your 2-year-old brain was bad at making memories. It's that your brain was too busy building itself to leave much standing. So there's a second reason working alongside the first. Even when a young memory survives, it might need words to be. Developmental psychologist Patricia Bauer has spent years studying exactly when children begin recalling specific one-time events, the kind of memory researchers call episodic memory. Her work shows this ability doesn't switch on all at once. It develops gradually, and it depends heavily on language. A memory formed before you had the words for yesterday, or before, or the year we moved, may simply have no hooks to hang on to. You can't file an event under a time your brain hadn't invented yet. Picture it like a library with no cataloging system. The books sit on the shelves. They're not destroyed, but without a title, an author, a subject heading. Good luck finding the one you need. Your earliest years were recorded in a library like that. No card catalog, no index, just shelves. Here's where it gets stranger. This isn't a flaw in human design. It might be a feature. A brain constantly under renovation, constantly rewriting its own foundations, is a brain built for extreme flexibility. Infancy is when you learn to control every muscle in your body, recognize thousands of new sounds as language, and build the basic scaffolding for everything you'll think for the rest of your life. Perhaps a brain that's stable enough to remember everything wouldn't be flexible enough to learn everything. You may have traded your earliest memories for the variability to become who you are. Does that trade sound fair? Ask yourself, would you rather remember being a baby? Or would you rather have become fluent in language, upright, coordinated, and socially wired by age 3? You can't have both. Evolution appears to have picked one for you, and it picked learning over remembering. There's a modern mirror to all of this, and it might be closer to your life than you think. Ever walked into a room and instantly forgotten why you went in there? Some researchers believe this doorway effect happens because your brain treats crossing a threshold as a natural boundary for memory, closing one mental chapter to open the next. Now scale that idea up to the size of your entire childhood. Around age 3 or 4, your sense of self, your language, your understanding of time, all shift dramatically. You walk through a developmental doorway so large it closes an entire chapter behind you. The memories on the other side aren't necessarily destroyed. They're just behind the door your current mind can no longer open. This might also explain something else you've likely noticed. Your childhood memories don't just fade evenly, like an old photograph losing color. They vanish in a specific pattern. Almost nothing survives from before age 2. A few fragments appear between 2 and 4. From around 6 or 7 onward, memories start sticking with real detail. Researchers call this the offset of childhood amnesia, and its timing lines up almost exactly with Bauer's language milestones and Franklin's slowing neurogenesis curve. Two completely different fields of science, one working with grieving mice in a lab, the other working with toddlers and vocabulary tests, arrived at the same conclusion from opposite directions. So the next time you look at a baby photo of yourself and feel a strange disconnect, like you're looking at a stranger who happens to share your face, you're not imagining that gap. It's real. It's measurable. It has a name, a timeline, and a biological mechanism. You were there. You laughed. You were held. You were loved in ways that shaped the adult you became. Your brain simply wasn't finished building the shelves it needed to keep the receipts. Maybe that's not a loss so much as a quiet kind of trust. You don't remember the hands that first steadied you while you learned to stand, but those hands are still written into your balance, your instincts, your nervous system, in a language older than memory itself. You don't remember being one, but being one is still the reason you're capable of being anything at all.